Have you ever wondered why a narcissist never seems to truly understand you, no matter how hard you try to explain yourself? I'm not just talking about them deliberately ignoring you. It's something deeper, something almost unchangeable. Today, we're going to get straight to the heart of it. A narcissist cannot see you, not your true self, not your emotions, not your intentions, and certainly not your values. Instead, they see something entirely different, something you might not even recognize right away. And I'm going to break down exactly what that is. When you're dealing with a narcissist, whether it's a friend, a partner, or even a parent, you often feel like you're talking to a wall. You try to express your feelings, to explain your actions, but nothing seems to sink in. It's not just that they don't want to listen. It's that the way their mind works doesn't allow them to see you as a separate individual with your own story and essence. This isn't just an emotional opinion. It's a core trait of narcissistic personality disorder, something that has been deeply studied by psychologists, and it affects every interaction you have with them, from the smallest conversations to relationships that span decades. In this video, we're going to break it all down step by step: why narcissists can't see you, what they're actually seeing instead, and what that means for you, especially if you're trying to recover from narcissistic abuse, the emotional and psychological damage they've caused. This isn't going to be a dry lecture or empty theory. I want you to see yourself in what I'm saying, to gain clarity about what you've been through or what you're still going through. Because once you understand how they operate, you'll start to see the way out of the chaos they create. So stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear answer, not just about how the narcissist sees you, but about how you can protect yourself and reclaim your power. This isn't an easy journey, but it's worth it. We're going to go deep into their mindset, uncover the hidden patterns, and, most importantly, find a way for you to break free from their distorted world. Are you ready? Let's dive in. The distorted image in the narcissist's mind. A narcissist doesn't see you as a full human being, with complexity, with good days and bad days, with your own intentions and emotions. Instead, they create a fixed image of you in their mind. An image not based on what you actually do or say, but based on their own internal needs. And here's the key: that image only has two modes. You're either completely good or completely bad. There's no in-between, no nuance, no flexibility. Think about how we typically view others in everyday life. In psychology, there's a concept called whole object relations, the ability to recognize that a person can have both strengths and flaws. This is something most of us do naturally. For example, you might know a co-worker who's incredibly hard-working but sometimes a bit impatient, or a close friend who's fiercely loyal but occasionally says thoughtless things. We accept these contradictions, and over time our view of them evolves as we understand them more deeply. That's how healthy relationships grow, through observation, learning, and adjusting. But with narcissists, that doesn't happen. They lack the capacity to handle the complexity of human beings. If you do something they don't like, no matter how minor, they don't just see that one flaw, they see you as entirely bad, as if every good thing you ever did is erased in an instant. Imagine you forgot to respond to their message for a few hours because you were in a meeting. A normal person might think, oh, they're probably busy, and move on. But a narcissist? That might become proof that you don't care, that you're selfish, that you intentionally hurt them. A small action gets inflated into a sweeping judgment about your entire character, not because you did something wrong, but because they simply cannot see you any other way. This is why the image they have of you doesn't evolve over time. In healthy relationships, we adjust our view of someone as we gather more information. You might start out thinking someone is perfect, but over time you realize they have flaws too, and that's okay. But with narcissists, once they decide you're bad, everything you do after that only confirms that belief, no matter how hard you try to prove otherwise. If you apologize, they think you're being manipulative. If you stay silent, they think you're punishing them. There's no winning, because the image they hold of you isn't rooted in reality. It's based on how they need to see you in order to feel okay about themselves. And here's what you need to understand. They don't do this to punish you or to play mind games. They do this because they literally can't do otherwise. Their minds are locked into a rigid black and white way of seeing things, good or bad, nothing in between, which means you're never truly seen for who you are. You're just a role they assign to you, and that role can shift from the best person in the world to the worst enemy imaginable in the blink of an eye. And once you grasp this, you'll start to see why every effort to please them ends up feeling futile. But before we get into the solution, let's go even deeper. Why are they like this in the first place? Why can't they see you? Now we're going to go a little deeper. Not to make excuses for narcissists, but to understand why they're unable to see you as a real, whole person. One of the main reasons lies in how they feel about themselves. Narcissists often carry a deep sense of self-loathing. They may not show it on the surface, but it's there, quiet, persistent, and always bubbling underneath. They don't feel secure in who they are, and that insecurity creates a near-constant state of paranoia. To them, the world is a dangerous place, filled with people who are ready to hurt or exploit them. And you, no matter how kind or well-intentioned you are no exception. When you do something they don't like, they don't see it as a normal human mistake. They interpret it as proof that you're against them, that you have bad intentions. Think about it. If you don't trust yourself, how can you possibly trust others? Narcissists live with the belief that everyone is a potential threat. A casual comment, a small disagreement, like you not siding with them in a discussion, can be twisted into a personal attack, not because you actually did anything wrong, but because they need to see you that way to protect themselves from feelings of hurt or rejection. It's a defense mechanism, but one that destroys any chance of them truly knowing who you are. The second reason is even more critical. Narcissists lack a stable sense of self. In psychology, this is known as a fragmented or unstable self-identity, the absence of a solid, consistent inner core that most of us develop over time. You and I know who we are through our values, our experiences, and how we treat others, but narcissists don't have that foundation. Instead, they rely on other people to define them. If they want to feel good, you have to be bad. If they want to feel important, you must be diminished. And no, this isn't something they consciously plan out. It's simply how their mind works to fill the emptiness inside. So when you're in a narcissist's orbit, you're not just a friend, a partner, or a family member. You're a tool for them to feel okay about themselves. If they need to believe they're the kindest person in the room, they'll magnify one tiny flaw of yours to prove you're not as kind. If they need to feel like a victim, they'll twist an innocent action of yours into proof that you're bullying them. You're not allowed to simply be yourself. You have to fit the role they've assigned to you, and that role can shift at any moment depending on their mood or need for validation. Another factor is the way they view the world through a black and white lens. For narcissists, things are either all good or all bad. There's nothing in between. This often stems from how they were raised, possibly in a chaotic or painful environment where they learned there was no room for complexity. As a result, they can't accept that you can be both kind and imperfect. One small mistake, like disagreeing with them, is enough for them to slap the label "bad person" on you and treat you that way from then on. No room for repair, no room for understanding, because in their world, you're not allowed to be both good and flawed. Psychologists call this a combination of lack of whole object relations and negative bias. Simply put, they can't grasp the complexity of people, and they're hyper-focused on anything negative to protect themselves. If you say something kind, they might ignore it, but if you do something they dislike, no matter how minor, they'll blow it up tenfold and use it to define your entire identity. This isn't about intentional cruelty, it's about limitation, and this explains why they can't see you for who you really are. But what does this mean for you? Let's take a closer look. The impact on you. Now that we understand why a narcissist can't truly see you, let's talk about what that actually means for you, the person on the other side of the relationship. When you're close to a narcissist, you often feel like you don't exist as a separate whole person. They don't respond to who you actually are. They respond to the image they've created of you in their mind. And that can make you feel invisible, like every effort you make to connect, to explain, to be understood is pointless. You could spend hours trying to clarify your intentions, and they'll still insist you're trying to hurt them. You could do everything to help them, and they'll still call you selfish. Why? Because they don't see you, they see the version of you they need in order to feel okay. Let's bring this into real life. Say you're in a relationship with a narcissist. Maybe it's a romantic partner. You do everything you can. You listen, you support them, you even put their needs above your own. Then one day you say something harmless like, "I think we should try a different approach," and suddenly they explode. They accuse you of disrespecting them, not caring, even trying to sabotage them. You're stunned because that wasn't your intention at all, but to them your intentions don't matter. Only their perception matters. And that perception isn't based on reality, it's based on what they need to see in you to protect their fragile ego. Being constantly treated according to a distorted version of yourself can erode your sense of reality. In psychology, this ties into the concept of gaslighting, when you begin to doubt your own experience because their version of reality doesn't match yours. You might say something simple like, "I'm tired today," and they respond by accusing you of complaining to make them feel bad. You try to explain, "That's not what you meant," but they don't hear you. Over time, you start to question yourself. Am I complaining? Am I really the selfish person they say I am? This isn't normal self-doubt. This is a slow breakdown of your sense of truth, and it can leave you feeling disoriented, even lost. Take another example, someone trying to please a narcissistic family member, maybe a parent or a sibling. They do everything they can, help with chores, avoid conflict, even apologize when they're not wrong. But the narcissist still sees them as ungrateful or selfish, not because they've done anything terribly wrong, but because the narcissist can't see them outside the negative image already planted in their mind. You could spend your whole life trying to prove you're not who they think you are, and nothing changes. They don't see the good you do. They only see what fits their narrative about you. Here's the harsh truth. No matter how hard you try, you cannot change how they see you. You could be the kindest, most thoughtful person in the world, but if they've labeled you bad, every move you make will be twisted to support that label. Stay quiet to avoid conflict? You're cold. Speak up to defend yourself? You're aggressive. There's no winning because how they see you has nothing to do with you. It's all about them. And that realization can be exhausting. It can make you feel worthless, unlovable, and like everything is your fault. But here's the truth. It's not your fault. It's their limitation. This impact goes beyond emotions. It can reshape how you see yourself and the world. You might begin to shrink, to silence your voice, to give up on other relationships because you fear you're not enough. That's the cost of being close to someone who can't see you, and it's far too high. But don't lose hope. There is a way out. Let's move into the next part, where we'll explore how you can begin to break free from this cycle and take back your power. The liberating truth. We've gone through the heavy parts, why narcissists can't see you and how that affects you. Now, let's shift into something that will change the way you see everything. The liberating truth. Here's the key thing you need to understand. Because a narcissist cannot truly see you, nothing you do will ever change how they perceive you. You can try to please them, avoid upsetting them, even argue your case in hopes of being understood, but the outcome stays the same. They won't suddenly get you. They won't suddenly see the real you. And here's the good news. That means you no longer have to keep trying. Let's look at this logically. If your actions don't affect their perception, if they're going to see you as the bad guy no matter what, then spending your energy trying to change their mind is a waste. Imagine trying to convince someone that the sky is blue, but they insist it's red, and no amount of evidence changes their mind. Would you keep arguing forever? Of course not. It's the same with a narcissist. They don't judge you based on reality. They judge you based on what they need you to be so they can feel okay about themselves. Once you realize this, you'll understand something powerful. It is not your job to fix how they see you. That's not your responsibility. That's their issue. And here's the turning point. They don't define you. In life, we often worry about what others think of us. We want to be liked, respected, understood, and that's completely normal. But when it comes to a narcissist, their opinions aren't based on truth. They don't reflect who you really are. If they call you selfish, that doesn't mean you are selfish. It means they need you to be selfish so they can feel morally superior. If they say you don't care, that doesn't mean you're heartless. It means they need a villain to justify their story. Their opinion is a survival mechanism, not a reflection of your worth. And once you understand that, you'll see that you don't have to carry that burden anymore. Think about it in real life. You may have spent months, even years, trying to prove your value to them. You worked harder, you apologized more, you tried to become the perfect version of yourself you thought they wanted. But nothing changed, did it? They still found flaws, they still criticized, they still treated you like you weren't enough. And it's not because you failed, it's because they're incapable of seeing your efforts, your kindness, your love. And if they can't see it, then continuing to try and make them see it is a losing battle. So what should you do? Stop trying to convince them that you deserve respect. Stop trying to earn their love or prove that you're a good person. You don't need their validation to know your value. Your worth doesn't depend on whether they recognize it exists independently of them. You don't have to prove anything to someone who's not capable of understanding you. Instead, take that energy and give it to yourself. Focus on protecting your mental health. Rebuild your self-confidence. Create a life where you're seen and valued for who you truly are. This is the liberating truth. You have control over how you respond to them. They may still see you as the bad guy, but you don't have to accept that role. You can walk away from the cycle of blame and criticism. You can choose not to let their distorted view shape how you see yourself. It won't be easy, especially if you've been in this dynamic for a long time, but it is absolutely possible. And when you do it, you'll feel more free than you ever imagine. You're no longer a prisoner of their broken perception. You're free. We've come a long way today, and I want to wrap everything up so you can walk away with something clear and powerful. We've broken down how a narcissist cannot see you as a real human being. Not because you're not good enough, but because they simply don't have the capacity. They only see a distorted image, a version of you that exists to serve their needs, to help them feel okay about themselves. This is not your fault, it's how their mind works. Locked into black and white thinking, paranoia, and a lack of personal identity. But here's the most important thing. You don't have to live according to how they see you. You are not the character they've created in their mind. You are a real person with real value, with real emotions, and you deserve relationships where you're seen for who you truly are. You don't have to keep chasing their approval because they can't give it to you. Not because you don't deserve it, but because they're not capable of it. And once you accept that truth, you'll realize you can let go of the burden you've been carrying for far too long. I made this video because I know so many of you have been through this, maybe with an ex, a family member, or a friend you once cared about deeply. I know what it feels like to be stuck, to be misunderstood, to be treated like you don't exist. But I also know this: you are stronger than you think. You can get through this, one step at a time. Start by letting go of the need to change them, and instead focus on healing yourself. You deserve that. If this video resonated with you, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below. What have you learned from dealing with a narcissist in your life? What's been the hardest part for you? I'll be reading and replying because I truly want to connect with you. And if you want to go deeper, check out my playlist on narcissistic abuse. The link is down below. We'll keep walking this journey together. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a few resources. If you're on the path to healing from narcissistic abuse, I have over 500 videos on this channel, covering everything from how to recognize a narcissist to how to rebuild your life after breaking free from them. All the links are down below, so check them out if you need extra support. I've poured my heart into this content to help you, because I know this road isn't easy. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Your support, whether it's watching the videos, leaving a comment, or sharing with someone who needs it, means the world to me. We are a community here, and I deeply appreciate every single one of you.